I'm Wisneiski, I'm 20, and I grew up in suburban Long Island. A lot of my friends were like 15, 16, 17 years old, while I was like 12, 11, 13 years old. That was around the time that I started drinking. Yeah, my best friend in middle school throughout high school was 3 years older than me. She also had an older brother who was 3 years older than her, so he was like 21 when I was like 13, 14, and he introduced me to like weed, and he was a cocaine dealer. It turned from good to bad when it came to like drinking and smoking was probably around when I was like 13. The transition into middle school into high school, when I had access to them to do it by myself, I think that was the transition into like, yeah, this is something I do when I'm like with my older friends too. Yeah, this is something that I do, period. Sophomore year of high school, I had a vape in my bag, and a bag of cocaine. I got caught vaping in the bathroom, so they have to like search your bag, search your everything. And they found the vape in my bag, so I just walked out, and they had to call the cops, they had to do a bunch of stuff, and that was like the first time that I had actually had consequences for like the things that I thought were things that teenagers did but like didn't really get in trouble for. That's when I realized that I was taking it a little bit too far, and then that happened my sophomore year of high school, and then COVID happened. I don't know, I think things just got really bad after that because I was in and out of rehab facilitations. I had a lot of undiagnosed bipolar, borderline personality disorder that my parents weren't really aware of. I was just being medicated for ADHD and like ADD. And I think that was actually making the problem worse because I was drinking a lot and then taking those medications, which were making me extremely manic, and my decision making was just not good. I started doing a lot of cocaine. I just remember waking up one day, my hair was past my waist, and I just looked at myself in the mirror, did a line of cocaine, and just shaved my head. I just went into like a 2-year spiral at that point. I wanted to change the way I looked all the time because I was so upset with the person that I was. I kept trying things that would probably kill me if I kept doing them, but I was just doing them because I was just unhappy. What inevitably got me sober was I got into a really, really low point my junior year of high school. January of that year, I had basically overdosed in my bathroom when my parents weren't home. 2 hours later, I must have like thrown up, and I could have easily died that way. Like 2 months after that, okay, I need to like drink a little bit less. And then by May, I just looked at everything I had, because for some reason I was keeping it because I thought that I was going to use it again. I just flushed everything down the toilet, poured all my alcohol down the sink, and I just was done. And it wasn't just not doing drugs. Like, I changed everything in my lifestyle. Started from scratch and just lost a bunch of weight, changed my diet, stopped doing drugs, and I just noticed a change where I thought it was going to be like a couple of months where I didn't do anything and see how I liked it, and I just never went back. What was most important to me was my parents' trust within me after the first few months. I did it because I wanted to. I think they realized, like, after all those years, like, yeah, like sending me those places, like, yeah, it scared me because I never want to go back to a rehab or a hospital ever again. But sending me to those places aren't going to get anybody sober. It's very easy for me to move from Long Island to New York. Reaching a year of sobriety, moving here, I was like never like scared I was going to like go out and make a mistake or like relapse or do something stupid. I was in a good enough and comfortable enough place where I had no problem being independent here. I think I'm open because people aren't, and I'm not ashamed of my past. I think I've made ends meet in a lot of bad areas in my life. I've rekindled a lot of relationships that weren't good because of the person that I was, so I have a lot of peace within myself to talk about it and to help people through that. Have memories of things that you've done in the past, but you know that you were doing those things because you were in a bad place, not because you were a bad person. I want my art to be portrayed as a vice to like help people. A lot of these movies don't really portray why you're acting that way. I think a lot of movies make addicts look like crazy or like overly emotional, but they never show why people start doing those things or why they're doing those things. They just show them at their worst. Through my films, I like to take a vice, show what it looks like when recovery happens and like what your life could be after that.